Alright, thank you much. So yeah, this is a wonderful game, Puss in Boots for the NES. We're gonna go on a tour around the world as our friend Pero, which is apparently Puss in Boots' name. It's a pretty wild game, should be a lot of fun. It's also very short, so if I come anywhere near estimate, that is a bad thing. Alright, I'll give you a countdown here, and then we'll get going. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, so we start out in the Wild Wild West. And if you only know Puss in Boots from the Shrek movies, you're not alone. That is definitely the only thing you should know him from. But apparently it is like an old fairy tale or something that's been around for a long time. So this game came out way before those movies. And this version of Puss in Boots has a gun instead of a sword, which we won't really ask questions about. And you'll see right away that I'm jumping constantly. So the regular walk speed in this game is terrible. You just go so slow. And so pretty much the entire game, anything that allows us to jump, we're going to be jumping. And there was the Old West. So now we go from the west into the ocean. I don't know which ocean, but the whole point of this game, if there is one, is to try and get to the top of the Statue of Liberty. And so we start in the west, and we're going to go the long ways around the world in order to get there. So now in the ocean, I got my little boat with my cannon, and the sharks will come up and hit me from behind. Can't really do much about that. I could shoot behind me if I wanted to, but that would be slow. So I basically just sit here and try and kill anything in front of me and hope that the things that hit me from behind don't do too much damage. There's a lot of RNG in this game, and so things like how many enemies come and hit you from behind is part of that. So sometimes you can be at pretty low health here. Alright, get out of our little whatever kind of boat that was into a submarine here with Pero's face on the side, because he's just that fly. And so down here, kind of all the vehicle levels, at least the ones like this that are essentially an auto-scroller, it just scrolls with you, but I'm just holding right the entire time. These things all have relatively safe spots, so right up here at the top of the screen, took one hit from the fish at the beginning, but that should be it. And there's sometimes a fish right here. Okay, if you stay up long enough, he doesn't spawn. And now we're at the boss for this stage, which, as you might expect, is a giant robot frog. And he is weak to the boomerangs, basically because you throw it at just the right height to toss in his mouth there. And this is a big RNG point, because you gotta wait for him to open his mouth. And so he opened it pretty quick there for the first two, but then couldn't quite finish him off, so that wasn't a great boss fight. Now we're in Arabia, so we went from the Old West to the ocean to Arabia, and we're in a car that can jump, because, again, cars move much faster when they're jumping. I recommend trying this at home. You'll find out that your car goes much faster when you jump, and it has a cannon attached to it. And that's Arabia. Now we are into space. This, in the game, it actually does say, I go through the map there pretty quick, so you might not have seen it, but it does actually say this is space. So even though we're in a little biplane, we are in space. And right down here in the bottom left is the safe spot for this one. So, honestly, this is where you can, be running the game and then go have a bathroom break or go grab a drink, whatever you want to do. I'm all about the high score, though, so I'm going to sit here and try and snipe lightning bolts, because if you shoot lightning bolts, you get points. And then I'm picking up that little extra life, because the final boss for this game is a real pain in the butt. And so there's a pretty solid chance I'm going to die several times at the final boss, so having that extra life means it's a little bit less likely I'll get a game over there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Oh, and then I gotta kill this UFO just because that's fun. And we land at the airport. We've left space. So I guess we were flying from Arabia through space to London. So now we're in London. And this is probably the easiest, besides the final boss, this is the easiest stage to die on. It's pretty tough, actually. These guys coming up behind you, you got to do some real quick turnaround shots, and you can only have one bullet on the screen at a time, so it can be a little obnoxious. And then we come down into the sewers of London, and this place is super deadly. These are little conveyor belts that make it really hard to control your stuff. And then you also have the enemies and everything. Alright, made it through there. You'll see there's these kind of random spikes. They also just kind of randomly do damage. There's no real rhyme or reason about how close you have to be or anything resembling a hitbox. So I actually didn't get any random damage there, so we should be fine for the boss, which, if you didn't know, underneath the streets of London, there is a giant demon thing. Oh man, this is some bad... Okay, that was really close. So yeah, a giant demon under the streets of London. And now we get in our hot air balloon, which is called Liberty for some reason. But this is going to try and get us to New York, to the Statue of Liberty. Taking a hot air balloon across the Atlantic Ocean seems like not the most efficient way to travel, but Harrow is just that awesome. I gotta say, I honestly kind of love this song. I think this is a real banger. But like a lot of NES games, it's got that weird thing where if you shoot, the sound effects override the music. So I like to do my own little remixes here. There we go. Alright, so we are coming up to New York. And so this is kind of a puzzle kind of area. You gotta figure out which doors to go through. So casually, it's a real nightmare, but I have played this a few times. I had no idea this game existed until my wife told me about it, and then I still didn't believe her until we found a copy. And playing it casually, it kind of beat me up for a while, but now I kind of adore it. Alright, so we're going through here, and this screen, basically just have to take a couple hits from those fireballs in order to do that somewhat quickly. And now we got a giant snake. This is the snake that lives in the Statue of Liberty. That's a real thing. If you go on the tour, you can see the giant snake. And I am almost certainly going to die here, because I have very low health, but this is the final boss, which, as we would all expect, is a wolf, because I'm a cat, wolves are bad, and a clown, because, you know, yeah. Oh man, this is a pretty good... So this is entirely RNG. Oh my god, it worked! Hey! That was like 7 seconds off of my PV. That was really good. So we did it! Normally that boss is pretty awful, that's why I was expecting, like, a game over. Because if they trap you in the corner, any contact damage is an immediate kill. So I was really not expecting to survive that first one. But yeah, that was the entire game. We made it to the top of the Statue of Liberty, stand triumphantly. We've gone on our great adventure. And there's the credits. Anyway, wonderful game. I have a lot of fun with it.